What is writing and the 10 key concepts of it in the 21st century? Books, movies, magazines, TV, news articles, social media. These are all things that have evolved and changed writing to fit our modern culture and help sculpt the world we all live in today. But that shit's for nerds.
No time to rest. Just do your best. What you hear is not a test. We're only here to make you. We're only here to make you. We're only here to make you. We're only here to make you go. Gotta make it a time.
Woo! Video games. The 10 key concepts of writing are just as home here as they are in any other art form. Let's get the easy stuff out of the way. I'm going to be painting with a broad brush here so we can focus more on interesting stuff. Genre is probably a good place to start because what is a video game? It's an interactive media with a specific objective, and it needs to be something a little bit more than just playing a movie off of a DVD menu or buying stuff off the internet. Then we have image and arrangement. Can you see anything? No? How about now? That's an image. And how the image and story is delivered is the arrangement of a game. It's pretty self-explanatory. Alphabetic text. I know, I'm blowing your mind so far. Circulation and field. You own a phone, tablet, computer, game console? Then chances are you own at least one video game. They're like everywhere now, and easier to access than ever. And they're in the hands of more people than ever. Even my 75-year-old grandma plays games on her iPhone. Remix and Kairos are a little less blindingly obvious. Sequels, remakes, ports, the list goes on. The testament that I can turn on my PlayStation 4 from 2013 and play Mega Man, a game from the 80s, pretty much speaks for itself on how games are remixed and revisited to keep them relevant and in the headlines. And did I mention that video games are like everywhere? They're more relevant than ever, and I would implore you to take a walk down the street, turn on your TV, or look at your phone without seeing some news article or at the very least an ad for a video game. Ethos and affordances is where video game writing starts to get a little bit more deep than the obvious surface value. The ethos of video games has changed immensely since hitting the mainstream audience about 35 years ago. They went from being looked at as not much more than kids' toys to being the source of childhood violence and angry teens.
What? You didn't even have me, oh my god!
To finally in the last few years where most people have dropped the overly negative stigmas and started respecting games as a quote-unquote real art form. And recently with games like The Last of Us, telling amazingly written and well-acted stories, it's easy to see why.
I can take care of myself.
How many close calls have we had?
Well, we seem to be doing all right so far.
And now you'll be doing even better with Tommy.
I'm not her, you know.
What?
Maria told me about Sarah.
Ellie?
And
You are treading on some mighty thin ice here.
I'm sorry about your daughter, Joel. But I have lost people too.
You have no idea what loss is.
Everyone I have cared for has either died or left me. Everyone fucking except for you. So don't tell me that I would be safer with someone else, because the truth is I would just be more scared.
You're right. You're not my daughter.
Affordances is where video games really start to differ from movies and TV shows. They not only have the ability to have a longer story than a movie and more in-depth than a TV show, but because they require some sort of outside interaction to be experienced, they have the ability to be different every time, which is vastly different than any other form of writing. Page 85 of a book is always going to be the same page 85 of that book. But hour 3 of a video game is going to be different for every single person that experiences that game, to differing levels on a case-by-case basis. Take a game like The Witcher, for example, which just came out a few months ago. The plot, world, and characters all change depending on choices that you, the player, made personally, giving you a more intimate and personal experience than any other form of writing can deliver on. And that leads me to what I think is the most important thing that video games bring to the table, and that is a concept of agency. Agency is a concept of you personally feeling connected to what you're experiencing. That's you being in control of what's going on, and you taking responsibility to some extent as to what happens. Again, using The Last of Us as a touchstone, when Ellie goes missing, you don't want her to be found because,
Oh, that's just what should happen.
no, you want her found because you want her found. Not just because that's what the story dictates, but because you feel like your actions are going to directly affect what happens, and that's because to some extent they do. This can be explained even easier if you look at something like Mario. If someone's watching you play Mario, and Mario dies, they don't go, oh look, Mario died. They say, look, you died because you messed up. You personally did that. If you're watching Jurassic Park and you look away for a second, Sam Neill's character doesn't just get eaten by a dinosaur because you weren't paying attention to him. And if you're reading a book like Of Mice and Men, a certain character still dies no matter what, no matter how slowly and carefully you turn the page. Hopefully that's some surface level information on why video games have some of the most vastly different and truly unique writing in the 21st century.